We often imagine our planet as a pristine wilderness, a place where nature has always reigned supreme and human influence is a recent disruptive force. This vision of untouched landscapes, stretching endlessly beyond the horizon, is deeply rooted in our collective imagination. We picture ourselves as late arrivals, newcomers who only recently began to leave our mark on the land, carving out cities and fields from a world that existed long before us. But the Earth holds older stories, evidence buried deep in layers of sediment, locked away in ancient ice and hidden beneath the surface, that reveal a much deeper, more complex relationship between people and the planet. Our ancestors, and even their close relatives, were shaping their environments long before the first seeds were planted or the first cities rose. They adapted to changing climates, learned to use fire, and developed tools that allowed them to thrive in diverse landscapes. These early humans were not passive inhabitants but active participants in their world. Through ingenuity and resourcefulness, they altered local ecosystems, sometimes subtly, sometimes dramatically, by hunting, gathering and managing the resources around them. Today, scientific discoveries are rewriting our understanding of the past. Archaeologists and paleontologists now show that significant human impact stretches back tens of thousands of years, far earlier than we once imagined. Ancient pollen, charcoal, and animal bones, tiny clues preserved in the earth, reveal a planet that has been co-evolving with its human inhabitants for millennia. These traces tell stories of ancient fires, shifting forests, and the animals that once roamed alongside us. The landscapes we call natural are often the result of a long, intricate dance between people and environment. What appears wild and untouched may, in fact, be shaped by countless generations of human hands. This is a story of fire, hunting, and adaptation, a legacy written into the land itself. Early humans used fire to clear forests, encourage new growth and create habitats for the animals they depended on. Our earliest ancestors, including Neanderthals, began shaping the world in ways that still influence us today. Their innovations and survival strategies echo through time, leaving marks on the landscapes we now inhabit. The mark of humanity on Earth is far older and more profound than we once believed. Our story is not just one of recent change, but of a deep, enduring connection with the world around us, a connection that continues to shape the planet to this day. Our journey begins with the Neanderthals, resourceful, intelligent, and deeply adapted to their world. These early humans were not just passive inhabitants of their environment, they were active participants, constantly learning and innovating to survive in the challenging landscapes of prehistoric Europe. Their most transformative tool was fire, which they used not just for warmth, but to reshape their environment. Fire became a central part of Neanderthal life, providing light in the darkness, protection from predators, and a means to cook food, making it safer and easier to digest. Imagine dense forests in ancient Europe, thick with undergrowth, tangled with fallen branches, and shrouded in mist. These woodlands were hard to traverse and even harder to hunt in, with limited visibility and movement. Neanderthals used fire to clear undergrowth and thin trees, creating open spaces where sunlight could reach the ground. This process, known as controlled burning, was a deliberate and skillful act, requiring knowledge of weather, wind, and the behavior of fire itself. This was early landscape engineering, making the land more productive and safer for hunting. By opening up the forest, Neanderthals could move more freely, spot prey from a distance, and avoid dangerous predators lurking in the shadows. These clearings encouraged the growth of grasses and shrubs, which in turn attracted large herbivores like deer, bison, and even mammoths. The animals would gather in these open spaces to graze, providing Neanderthals with reliable hunting grounds. Open landscapes made hunting easier and reduced the risk from predators. With fewer places for dangerous animals to hide, Neanderthals could track and hunt more efficiently, increasing their chances of survival. By controlling fire, Neanderthals tailored habitats to their needs, a profound shift in the human-environment relationship. This ability to shape the land set them apart from other animals and marked a turning point in our evolutionary story. They weren't just surviving, they were managing and maintaining their world. Through cooperation and shared knowledge, Neanderthal groups worked together to keep these landscapes open and productive, passing down skills from one generation to the next. This intentional use of fire marks the dawn of humans as shapers of ecosystems. It was the beginning of a long journey, one that would eventually lead to agriculture, cities, and the modern world. Neanderthals demonstrated a deep understanding of ecological processes, observing how animals responded to changes in the landscape and adapting their strategies accordingly. Their actions left a lasting imprint on the landscapes of Europe. Even today, scientists can find evidence of ancient fires and managed clearings, revealing the enduring legacy of Neanderthal ingenuity. They were the planet's first firekeepers, wielding nature's power to their advantage and forever changing the relationship between humans and the world around them. How do we know Neanderthals used fire to shape their world? The answer lies in microscopic clues preserved in ancient sediments. Scientists analyze pollen grains from lake beds and peat bogs to reconstruct past vegetation. During Neanderthal times, pollen records show a shift. Fewer trees, more grasses, evidence of forest clearing. Alongside this, layers reveal spikes in microscopic charcoal, the signature of fire. When these changes coincide with Neanderthal sites, the connection is clear. Neanderthals used fire to transform dense forests into open, park-like landscapes. The pollen and charcoal together tell a story of deliberate environmental management. These open spaces supported herds of grazing animals essential for Neanderthal survival. Much of what we see as natural grasslands were in fact human creations maintained by fire for generations. For countless generations, Neanderthals shaped Europe's landscapes with fire, using it as a powerful tool to survive and adapt. They learned to harness flames not just for warmth and cooking, but to clear undergrowth, encourage new plant growth, and attract game animals. Their fires left a subtle but lasting mark on the forests and grasslands of ancient Europe. Then, around 45,000 years ago, a new wave of humans, Homo sapiens, arrived on the scene. They brought with them not only new tools and technologies, but also greater numbers and a different way of interacting with the land. Their arrival marked a turning point in the story of Europe's landscapes. These newcomers inherited the Neanderthal legacy of fire, but they didn't just continue it, they expanded it. Homo sapiens mastered the art of controlled burning, using fire to manage vast stretches of land, open up dense forests, and create new habitats for both themselves and the animals they depended on. Archaeological records reveal a dramatic increase in charcoal deposits and rapid shifts in vegetation patterns as Homo sapiens spread across the continent. These changes show how fire became an even more important force, reshaping the very fabric of the land. The human footprint grew larger and deeper, transforming forests into open grasslands and creating a patchwork of habitats. Across continents, the marks of human activity became unmistakable as people altered the land to suit their needs. These practices didn't just change the landscape, they made it more productive. By managing fire and encouraging the growth of useful plants, early humans supported growing populations and created new opportunities for hunting and gathering. The arrival of Homo sapiens marked an acceleration, not a beginning of human environmental impact. Their innovations built on what Neanderthals had started, but at a much larger scale and pace. Skills and knowledge were passed down through generations, adapted to new challenges, and amplified as communities grew. Children learned from elders, and each generation added its own discoveries. Over tens of thousands of years, the combined actions of Neanderthals and modern humans reshaped Europe's ecosystems, creating the diverse and dynamic landscapes we see traces of today. The landscapes we see today, mosaics of forest, grassland, and open country, are the product of this long shared history of fire management and human ingenuity. Our ancestors were not just inhabitants of their world, they were world makers, shaping the land with fire, knowledge, and vision that echoes through the ages. Recent scientific models let us measure the scale of ancient human influence. By simulating Ice Age worlds with and without humans, researchers found Neanderthals affected up to 6% of plant types and created 14% of open landscapes. When Homo sapiens entered the scene, their impact soared, shaping up to 47% of plant distributions in some regions. Nearly half of the vegetation patterns were influenced by human activity, long before agriculture. The idea of untouched wilderness dissolves in light of this evidence. Hunter-gatherers were powerful ecological forces, not passive wanderers. Their influence was regional, even continental. 15,000 years ago, the world was already deeply humanized. fire wasn't the only tool. Our ancestors' hunting also transformed ecosystems. Neanderthals and Homo sapiens hunted megafauna like mammoths and giant deer, reducing their populations. These large herbivores were natural ecosystem engineers, maintaining open grasslands. As humans hunted them, forests could have expanded, but people used fire to keep landscapes open. This feedback loop curated animal populations, favoring species valuable for food. Our ancestors actively constructed their ecological niche, combining hunting and fire. They weren't just adapting, they were creating environments that suited them. The hunting of megafauna set the stage for the world that followed. The Anthropocene is often linked to the Industrial Revolution or the rise of agriculture, but the legacy of Neanderthals and early hunter-gatherers pushes this timeline back. Humans have been shaping landscapes for over 100,000 years. It's part of our identity. Early changes were different from today's pollution, but still profound. Even with simple tools, our ancestors altered vegetation and animal populations across regions. This deep history is sometimes called the Paleo-Anthropocene. Landscapes seen as untouched were often managed by people for millennia. There is no clear line between natural and human influence. The two have always been intertwined. The Anthropocene may have begun with the first Neanderthal fire, not a steam engine. This new understanding changes how we see our relationship with nature. For centuries, we've viewed ourselves as separate from, or destructive to, the natural world. But evidence shows we co-evolved with the ecosystems we shape. The landscapes our ancestors created shaped our bodies, minds, and cultures. Plants and animals thrived in the environments we managed. We are products of the worlds we helped build. Early human landscapes were rich and biodiverse, not ecological deserts. Our impact wasn't always benign, but it was part of a functioning system. The challenge now is to become conscious, responsible shapers, fostering ecosystems that support both people and biodiversity. Our capacity to shape the world is ancient. Our responsibility to do so wisely is urgent. The story of Neanderthals and early humans offers vital lessons for today's environmental crises. We've always been ecosystem engineers. There's no single natural baseline to restore. Instead, we must guide change toward a resilient, biodiverse, and sustainable future. Ancient practices like controlled burning are being revived to manage landscapes and prevent wildfires. Some solutions to modern problems lie in the sustainable practices of our ancestors. We must relearn how to work with nature, not against it. The Neanderthal legacy reminds us, we belong to this world as powerful, integral components. Our actions shape the future. Let's wield that power with care and respect. The planet's future depends on us learning from our deep past to create a thriving world for all life.